Millionaire finding a street child unconscious in sewage. Her words upon awakening are shocking. Marcus Hale stepped out of the glitzy gala, the noise of laughter and luxury falling silent behind him. The dazzling lights of the city were a stark contrast to the dark, filthy alley where he stumbled upon a figure. A girl, probably no older than 16, sprawled in a sewage ditch. Her hair stuck to her face, caked in grime. For a moment, Marcus hesitated. Just another lost soul in a city that ignored most of its broken. As he drew closer, the pitiful sight pierced something deep within him. Barely breathing against the stench of filth, the girl looked fragile, like a discarded doll. But when he knelt beside her, something fluttered in his chest. Fear, maybe, or a flicker of recognition. With sudden urgency he shook her gently. "Hey, can you hear me?" His voice echoed back as if mocking his concern. Just as he was about to pull out his phone, she stirred. Her eyelids fluttered open, revealing eyes that were impossibly bright and wild, like a storm in a calm sea. "Marcus Hale," she rasped, her voice no louder than a whisper, but heavy with gravitas. "You can't hide from me." He staggered back, his heart thundering in his chest. "What do you mean? How did this girl know his name? Who was she?" "I know what you did when you were a kid," she continued, her gaze locking onto his. The intensity in her eyes sent a chill down his spine. The past he had tried to bury was rising, dark memories, laced with fear, regret, and hidden truths. Suddenly the alley felt suffocating. The air thickened, the shadows seemed to grow and murmur, hiding secrets he had long buried. "You think you're better than me?" she hissed, as if reading his thoughts. "You think your money can erase the hurt?" Each word struck him like a blow, revealing the guilt he wore like a shroud. He looked away, but her voice wrapped around him, impossible to escape. "What happened to you, Marcus? You're just as lost." His mind raced, thoughts colliding like a chaotic storm. What had he become? A billionaire leading a life steeped in ambition and cold transactions. All the while, he had pretended the past couldn't reach him, burying childhood memories of neglect and violence. Around them, the city hummed with indifference, oblivious to this moment of connection. Little did he know that unseen dangers lingered just beyond the flickering streetlights. An underground network had their eyes on Lily. Just then, a chilling realization struck him. This girl, this version of his past, wasn't just a pitiful case. She might hold the key to secrets he never wanted to face. In the ensuing silence, the tension thickened, pulling them closer, binding their fates with invisible threads of shared trauma. As he stared into her determined eyes, a question lingered, unanswered, heavy in the air. How deep did the bonds of fate stretch? Hey, before we continue with this incredible story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Just take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming up. And since you're here, smash that like button because it really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments which city are you watching from. I love getting to know every amazing person who is part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. As he stared into her determined eyes, a question lingered, unanswered, heavy. In the air. How deep did the bonds of fate stretch? Suddenly, a sharp sound sliced through the thick tension, echoing like a gunshot in the still night. Marcus jerked his head toward the entrance of the alley, two shadowy figures emerging from the darkness, their body language aggressive, determined. "Get away from her," one of them shouted, voice gravelly like broken glass. Marcus's heart raced as dread curled in his stomach. The girl, Lily, only seemed to smirk, still lying in the muck, as though she knew something he didn't. "Lily, no!" Marcus shouted, reaching down to pull her away. But she waved him off, her smirk growing into a confident grin. The figure stepped closer, revealing men dressed in dark clothing with tattoos snaking up their arms, faces obscured by the shadows. "You have no idea what you're messing with, Marcus. one of them said, stopping just a few feet away. The tone was casual, but the threat was tangible. She's ours. Panic tightened around him. What do you want with her? He glanced between the men and Lily, confusion swirling in his mind. You'll find out soon enough, the other one sneered, glancing back at Lily. You know, she's got a talent. A real gift for finding lost things. What are you talking about? Marcus's voice dropped to a whisper. Fear knotted in his chest. The night felt even darker now, shadows eager to swallow him whole. She can lead us to what was taken. The family treasure, one of the men explained almost nonchalantly, as if they were discussing the weather. But the mention of a treasure hit Marcus hard. His past, his family lineage steeped in secrets he thought long buried. Lily suddenly sat up, her eyes alight with a wild spark. You're right, she said, her voice stronger, bolder. I know where it is. I've seen it before. The shock hit him like a slap. How? No, Marcus shook his head, disbelief flooding him. You don't have to do this. You don't owe them anything. But a part of him felt like he understood, understanding the desperation that drove her. Behind him there was a rustle, a breaking of glass. Curious heads started peering around corners, whispers rippling through the alley. What's going on? One voice murmured, strained. Is she in trouble? The men exchanged a quick look, and just like that, their faces hardened. Enough of this, one said, stepping forward. We'll take her. You can walk away, Marcus, or you can face the consequences. Consequences. The word hung in the thick air. He couldn't let them take her. Something deep within screamed at him to fight, to protect her. But confusion twisted in his mind. Who was she really? No, Marcus cried, taking a step closer, desperation flooding his words. Let her go. But just then, something unexpected happened. Lily reached out, placing a hand on Marcus's arm, her grip firm and calming. I can help you, Marcus, but it will change everything. Her eyes sparkled with an energy he'd never seen before. Trust me. The men chuckled, tension radiating off them. You're in way over your head, Marcus. As they closed in, a cold shock traveled down his spine. What had he stumbled into? As the reality of their words sank in, he glanced between Lily and the men, secrets and hidden truths dancing just out of reach. What did she know, and what were the real consequences of trusting a girl who seemed to know his every shame? In that chaotic moment, his mind spun, questions racing through him. The stakes had risen, and everything he thought was clear was now shrouded in mystery. Would he risk it all? To uncover the truth or save a girl who may hold the key to his dark past? As they closed in, Marcus felt the weight of the world crash down on his chest. He glanced between Lily and the men, heart racing, thoughts spiraling. It was chaos. Every instinct screamed for him to protect her. Let her go. Lily tightened her grip on his arm, confidence radiating from her. I can help, she insisted, but it'll change everything. Yet the men only laughed, the sound chilling. You think you have a choice? One of them sneered. You don't know what you're in for. Suddenly, the air shifted. An unseen force rippled through the alley, slicing through the thick tension. The ground trembled beneath them. What was happening? And then it came. An explosion of light and sound. A blinding flash illuminated the darkness, followed by the thunderous crack of an unseen blast. It shook Marcus to his core. He stumbled back, nearly losing his footing. Around them, the city seemed to hold its breath. What the? One of the men shouted, as if he had been slapped. The shadows flickered, panic igniting in their eyes. Lily shrieked, "Run!" But it was too late. The alley erupted in chaos. Debris rained down, forcing Marcus to shield Lily, pulling her close. Windows shattered in nearby buildings. The men cursed, shoving each other backward, seeking cover against the surging chaos. What's happening? Marcus gasped, adrenaline coursing through him. He could barely hear his own voice over the din. I don't know, Lily shouted back, her face pale but fierce, eyes wild with a mix of fear and excitement. It's them. Who? He couldn't keep up. Who are you talking about? Before she could answer, three figures emerged from the swirling dust, men in black uniforms, faces hidden under dark caps. They moved with purpose, eyes scanning the alley for threats. The tendrils of panic tightened around Marcus's throat. Were they here for Lily too? The tattooed man hissed, "We need to get her." But Lily was grinning. "You shouldn't have come." She wasn't afraid. The energy surrounding her changed, crackling like electricity. "You're too late." Marcus's heart stopped. What did she mean? There was something in her voice that twisted at his gut. The street seemed to pulse with a strange energy, drawing him closer, pulling him into the danger instead of away from it. The uniformed men advanced, weapons drawn. "Get her now," one of them yelled. Lily stepped forward, her smile transforming into something fierce, something he had never seen before. "You don't even know what you've unleashed." The world spun as one of the uniformed men reached for her. Suddenly, a brilliant surge of light erupted from her palm, casting shadows from the flickering flames around them. The force knocked him back, sending him crashing into a dumpster, the clang ringing like a bell. What the hell? Marcus stumbled, processing the sight. But that wasn't the twist. No, it was what happened next. As the dust settled, Lily turned to him, a fierce fire in her eyes. "I've been waiting for this moment my entire life, Marcus. I'm not just a street kid. I'm your sister." The air went dead still. The world shifted on its axis. His breath hitched. "What? No, that can't be. You're lying." Her expression remained unwavering. "I'm not lying. I found you. All these years I've been tracking you. You're the key to what we must do." Around him, the sounds of fear morphed into whispers. The men exchanged confused glances, the tension shifting in an instant. This can't be true," Marcus stammered. His mind raced. What had he just heard? "You're not serious." But the ferocity in her eyes told him everything. Suddenly the stakes soared higher than ever. Not just for her life, not just for his dark past, but for something deeper. Something that could unravel everything he thought he knew. And as Marcus stared into those piercing eyes, the truth clawed at him. What more had she kept hidden? What were the real secrets that bound them together? Just then, a loud siren blared in the distance, slicing through the air like a knife. The chase was far from over. The siren cut through the chaos, shrieking like a banshee. It sent a wave of panic through Marcus, reverberating off the alley walls. He could barely process what Lily had just revealed. His sister? No, not possible. How could she know? Yet there was something in her eyes, something familiar. The uniformed men stood momentarily stunned, their plan disrupted by the commotion. "Get rid of her," one shouted, just as the ground shook again, this time different. The pavement beneath them cracked, sending a tremor through Marcus's legs. "What's happening?" he managed to choke out, feeling like the world was falling around him. "No one can know what we've found." Lily's face twisted, eyes blazing with emotion. "You can't let them take me." The masked men exchanged alarmed glances. "Forget the girl, we need to regroup." One of them raised a walkie-talkie, voice shaking. "Base, this is Omega, we need backup." Before he finished, the air exploded again, as if a thunderstorm had ripped through the night, shaking loose bricks from the nearby buildings. Marcus stumbled, grabbing Lily's arm, but she stood firm, rooted in place, pulling him closer instead. "It's time," she whispered, her voice almost lost in the chaos. "What do you mean it's time?" Panic clawed at his throat. "We have to go." But in that moment, a blinding flash surged from the heart of the alley, illuminating everything in a vivid white light. It was unearthly, too bright, too loud. Marcus shielded his eyes, stumbling backward. Then came the silence. The drumming chaos faded into an eerie stillness, as if the world itself paused to gasp. When he finally opened his eyes, he felt a presence. Cold, intense. A figure appeared at the far end of the alley, tall and imposing, dressed in a long coat. Face cloaked in shadows, they emanated a power that felt foreign and terrifying. Lily gasped, her confidence wavering for the first time. "No, you shouldn't be here." "Lily," came the voice, low and resonant, echoing like a thunderstorm. You're in danger. You don't know what you're meddling with. She was trembling now. You shouldn't have come. Marcus looked between them, heart racing, feeling that he was standing on the edge of something vast and dark. What is going on? The figure stepped closer, revealing a glance of piercing eyes. You must come with me, Lily. It's time to fulfill your destiny. Destiny? The word hung heavy in the air, finger on the pulse of something ancient and frightening. Behind them, the uniformed men regained composure, ready to pounce. We can do this the hard way, one spat. You think we're afraid of some antique ghost? Lily took a step forward, defiance igniting her gaze. You don't understand who I am. Then show us, one man shouted, lunging toward her. Time felt distorted, everything happening at once. As he reached out, Lily's hand shot out, and another surge of energy released, more powerful than before. The alley lit up again. Stop, Marcus yelled, confusion and fear gripping him. But as the light enveloped everything, the impossible happened. The figures around them began to flicker, their outlines wavering, like they were never really there. Dread washed over him. Were they illusions? As they vanished, the ground shook violently. A dark chasm opened beneath Lily's feet. No, she screamed, her voice echoing off the walls as she was pulled downward. Lily! He lunged forward, heart pounding, piercing fear coursing through him. But the darkness swallowed her whole, leaving behind a swirling void. All at once, memories flooded Marcus's mind. The loss, the anger, the secrets buried deeper than he realized. Who was she really? What did she mean by destiny? A glimmer caught his eye. As if in response to his turmoil, a smooth object lay at his feet, a locket. He picked it up, trembling. When he opened it, a photograph fell out. 2 children, bright smiles plastered on their faces. One was him. The other, Lily's face mirrored his. His breath caught in his throat as he pieced it together. Their fears, their paths, the very foundation of his existence seemed to shift. He had to know more. But as sirens wailed closer, time slipped through his fingers. He stood alone in the darkness, the weight of truth pressing down. What had she awakened? And where had she gone? All he could think was, had he just lost her for good? The locket slipped from his fingers, clattering to the ground as Marcus inhaled sharply. Everything crashed around him. The world felt heavy. The darkness was suffocating. Just moments ago, he had been in the throes of chaos, with Lily's fate hanging in the balance, and now this shattering revelation turned his insides to ice. The whispers of the night pressed in, shadows danced, and every noise in the alley became a deafening roar. The streetlights flickered, casting eerie shadows that seemed to shift and breathe, alive with secrets. He bent down to pick up the locket, trying to focus on the photograph of him and Lily, trying to understand. But just as he studied her smile, the silence shattered. A loud bang like a gunshot echoed through the alleyway. A figure burst from the shadows, almost ghostly, clad in flowing white, radiant against the dark. Time froze. The figure stepped forward, face obscured by a shimmering veil, but Marcus felt the pull of familiarity. Marcus. The voice rolled like thunder, but there was a depth of warmth within it. I've come for you. His heart raced. What? Who are you? He stumbled back, instinctively seeking the wall for support. What do you want? As the figure advanced, the mist that surrounded them swirled and dissipated, revealing a striking resemblance, one that rocked him to his core. It was a woman, eyes shimmering like the twilight sky, and as she stepped into the glow of a street lamp, the truth clutched at him. I'm your mother. No, Marcus breathed, his throat tightening. You can't be. You died in that accident. It can't be you. The alley wavered. The world tilted. Everything he thought he knew shattered into a kaleidoscope of confusion. I escaped the crash, she explained, voice steady but urgent. They took me. I was forced into hiding, protected from your father's enemies. Enemies? His mind raced. Why now? Why come back like this? And Lily? You're telling me she's special, a key to unlocking everything, to our family's legacy. The words gripped him. Legacy? His mother's presence washed over him like a tide, comforting, yet overwhelming. But guilt clawed at him, memories of neglect and pain. Why didn't you come for me sooner? I needed you. I couldn't risk exposing you. Her gaze bore into his, pleading. But now it's too late. The shadows are closing in. We need to fight back. At that moment, the murmurs of the crowd outside grew louder, a mixture of confusion and curiosity. Marcus could feel eyes on him, witnessing his unraveling. What do you mean fight back? What do we even fight against? Panic laced his voice. The men who want to take Lily, they are hunting for something more than just her. She stepped closer, intensity sparking in her eyes. They want the treasure, but also control over the powers we have. Powers buried deep within our bloodline. What powers? He shook his head, disbelief coursing through him. What do you know about Lily? You're telling me we're special? That somehow she's a part of this too? There was a crack as something heavy fell nearby, drawing both their gazes. The uniformed men from earlier were back, regrouped, eyes wild with a new fervor. We don't need this. One of them spat, brandishing a weapon. We'll take her by force. As they closed in, everything shifted again. His mother surged forward, hands outstretched. You don't understand what you're unleashing. But before she could unleash whatever it was she possessed, the earth beneath them split again, the chasm from before deepening. Without thinking, Marcus lunged, instinctively reaching for the familiar touch of family. But the darkness swallowed him whole. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself standing outside, the world a dizzying blur around him. He blinked into the bright sunlight, breathing in fresh air. Yet it was suffused with the taste of ash. There was a city skyline before him, unfamiliar but somehow resonating with ancient memories. Marcus turned, scanning the faces of the people around him. They looked similar. Some even wore the same expressions of old fear and desperation. And then it hit him, a wave of realization crashing over him. Had they been taken? Were they all caught in this web? Then Lily appeared beside him, her eyes wide, breathing heavy. Where are we? That was when the world began to spin again, as if it were realigning. He turned to his mother, but she was gone. Just hold on, he shouted, but everything began to fade out of focus once more. Was this the family he so desperately needed? Was everything he believed about himself falling apart? The question spun wildly in his mind. With every heartbeat, he felt the weight of secrets pressing down, the darkness reaching out. And beneath it all, the undeniable connection still lingered. But one thing was clear. Whatever path lay ahead would be a reckoning, a test of loyalty, truth, and the bonds that tied them together. And Marcus had a choice to make. What would he uncover next? The moment hung in the air, thick with unspoken words as Marcus searched Lily's wide eyes. The same depth of fear he felt mirrored back at him. Where are we? She echoed, panic seeping into her voice. But before he could respond, the alley shimmered around them. The sounds of the city faded into a distant hum, the buzzing life beyond the shadows evaporating. They stood on the edge of something vast, an unknown expanse, stretching out before them. Marcus, Lily whispered, this isn't right. And that's when the ground rumbled beneath them. The air vibrated, a bone-deep tremor that sent shards of panic slicing through his heart. Squeezing every breath, he looked around, trying to grasp what was happening, when an unnatural glow erupted from the void. In a heartbeat, everything changed. A blast of energy surged from the chasm. Vibrant colors, swirling like a cyclone. It wrapped around them, tugging at their very cores, pulling them in different directions. Just as Marcus reached for Lily, she vanished in an instant, a scream trapped in his throat. Lily! The world around him became a kaleidoscope of blinding light and twisted shapes, wrapping him in darkness, then throwing him back into a new reality. He stumbled, dizzy, and landed hard on cold concrete. Breathless, he blinked against the brightness of the sun. Screaming isn't going to help. A voice drew his attention, cutting through the haze. Marcus turned and froze. Standing before him was a woman, radiant but terrifying. Long, flowing hair seemed to glimmer even in the harsh daylight, and her eyes, vivid and intense, held the weight of galaxies. "This is your fault, Marcus," she scolded, voice like honey tinged with wrath. "You've always been so naive." "Who are you?" he croaked, struggling to comprehend her presence. "Your truth." She took a step closer, and Marcus felt an electric jolt. "You think you're some victim in this mess, but you wield power beyond your understanding." "What are you talking about?" Dread coiled in his stomach. Suddenly, everything sharpened around them. The city skyline, the air thick with tension. His heart raced as she continued. "You wanted to avoid your past, but it's caught up with you. You don't want the truth, Marcus. You never did." He shook his head, confusion swirling. "This doesn't make sense." But before he could piece together her words, the dark figures emerged again. And he realized with a sickening feeling that they weren't just after Lily, they were after him. "Get him," one shouted, rushing forward. In a flash, Marcus remembered. The locket, the picture. If Lily was his sister, what did that mean for him? The connection thundered in his mind, crashing against the walls of his reality. "No, wait," he shouted, backing away. "You don't understand." But the terrors closed in, their shouts drowning him out. And that's when it hit him, a revelation so profound that it froze time. "What if I'm not who I think I am?" The woman smirked, the glimmer in her eyes turning electric. "Finally, you're catching on." In that unforeseen moment, the truth struck. He was her son, but more than that. They had made a choice to reshape history, to create something new. His existence was a lie. "You never loved me, did you?" he gasped, realization lighting up his blood. "Love?" she scoffed, an edge creeping into her tone. "It's never been about love. It's about power. And you, Marcus, were designed to inherit an empire built on secrets." The weight of her words crushed him. As the figures closed in, spiraling around him like a storm, fate shifted again. The chasm opened wider, tendrils of darkness reaching greedily for him. "No," he screamed, but the pull was too strong. With one last glance, he saw the city morph behind him, shadows lengthening, and he stumbled back toward the brink. "Help!" But the world twisted again, and as he felt himself falling into the abyss, he realized that everything he had known, everything he thought he was about to unravel. Then, with a deafening crash, the ground heaved and the scream of sirens pierced the air. A massive figure loomed in the distance, shrouded in flames. "You can't escape the truth," it roared, and suddenly Marcus understood. This was just the beginning. What haunted him was deeper than blood. It was etched into his very soul. As the darkness enveloped him completely, a single thought raced through his mind. Was he ready to face the truth, or would it consume him whole? The darkness swallowed him. He felt weightless, adrift in an icy void. Memories swirled like a whirlpool around him. The laughter, the pain, the secrets, the moments stretched, and then, without warning, he landed with a thud on solid ground. Marcus gasped for air, blinking against bright light. He was outside, a familiar street but different. Everything felt altered, more vibrant and alive. He looked around, heart racing. Had he traveled? To another place, another time. The air buzzed with energy, and the colors around him sparkled like they had been charged with electricity. Marcus, that voice, Lily. He spun around. She stood a few feet away, eyes wide, looking as dazed as he felt. Relief washed over him. "You found me." But before he could respond, a chilling laugh echoed from behind them. The dark figures reappeared, forming a line at the end of the street, shadows twisting with menace. "You've managed to mess it all up," one of them taunted, a cruel grin spreading across his face. "Or maybe we've just begun," Lily countered, stepping forward with unexpected confidence. Marcus opened his mouth to speak, but then the world shifted again. The ground trembled, and the shimmering street twisted beneath their feet. Something ancient and powerful was awakening. He felt it pulsating, as if the very earth was alive beneath them. And then it happened. A blinding flash erupted from the ground, turning the sky into a dazzling whirlwind of colors. He shielded his eyes, but the energy wrapped around them, humbling in its power. As the light faded, everything shifted once more. Suddenly, they stood in a strange room filled with bright, chaotic images flickering on every surface. It looked like a fusion of a control room and an art gallery. Vast screens filled with scenes of their lives, of people from their past, of moments long gone. And at the center of it all stood a woman, her face shrouded in light. "Welcome," she announced. "You've both been granted a glimpse of the truth." "Who are you?" Marcus demanded, inching closer to Lily. They stood united now, fear clashing with curiosity. "Your mother," the woman began, but the words caught in her throat. "No, I'm not who you think I am. I'm here to reveal what's been hidden." Before she could finish, a violent quake rattled the room. Images on the screens flickered and distorted. The figure of their mother transformed. "She doesn't speak for me," another voice rang out, powerful and commanding. It filled the space alive with fury. Marcus turned, shock tearing through him. "She's a deceiver." A new figure emerged, stepping out from the shadows. The resemblance to Marcus was uncanny. Same jawline, same fierce blue eyes. The chills ran down Marcus's spine as he realized this was his brother. "What the hell?" "Surprised?" "You should be," the brother smirked, addressing Lily. "I'm the one she never mentioned, the one you're really destined to face." "What are you talking about? What do you mean by destined?" Lily cried, eyes darting between the two men, confusion bubbling in her throat. "The treasure isn't just gold or jewels. It's about control, the bloodline. We have the power to reshape everything," he explained, intensity in his voice. "It was never about you, Marcus. You're just a pawn." The words hit with the force of betrayal. Marcus's heart raced, confusion and anger boiling within him. He took a step toward his brother, fists clenched. "No, I fought for this family, for the truth." But his brother only laughed. "And look where that's got you, nowhere." As the environment buzzed with tension, Lily reached for Marcus's arm, grounding him. "We can do this together, right?" "I don't know what's real anymore," he shouted, desperation clawing at his throat. And just as things reached a fever pitch, the ground shook once more. An explosion reverberated through the room, knocking them back. The screens began to crack, shards of light flying through the air. And as the world started to crumble, he had only one thought. If everything was a lie, then what had he been fighting for? And in that moment, the walls fell away, revealing a swirling void, darkness and light wrapping around them. As Marcus stared into the unknown, he felt the pull of destiny once more, the weight of untold secrets pressing down. Would he embrace this twisted truth, or fight against it? The question lingered, heavy in the air, as they spun toward the abyss. The darkness enveloped Marcus completely, pulling him down into a chaotic swirl of light and shadow. He felt disoriented, his mind racing. Memories flashed like lightning. His mother's face, Lily's smile, the brother he never knew. Each flicker felt like a piece of a puzzle that wouldn't fit. Then suddenly, he hit solid ground again. The brightness overwhelmed him, forcing him to squint. He looked around. Lily was beside him, solid and real. But their surroundings were different. No screens, no ominous shadows, just wide-open space, illuminated by a surreal glow. "Where are we?" Lily asked, her voice wavering. "I don't know, but it feels different." He took a deep breath, the air tasting sweet yet heavy. The ground felt like it was alive, pulsating beneath their feet. And then he saw him, his brother. But there was something off. The flashes of light danced across his face, revealing a sneer, twisted with malice. You really think you can escape, don't you? He stepped closer, dark energy radiating from him. You've played your part in this little game, but it's time to face the truth. What truth? Marcus yelled, anger surging through him. You don't scare me. Lily squeezed Marcus's arm, grounding him. Stay focused. Don't let him distract you. But before Marcus could respond, the ground split again, an ear-splitting crack echoing, sending them tumbling. The chasm opened wider, and he could feel the darkness beckoning, calling to him with insidious whispers. Panic shot through him. Get ready, his brother shouted, eyes wild. You're about to witness the truth of our legacy. In that instant, everything flashed white. The very fabric of reality seemed to unravel before his eyes. Then it happened. A blinding light erupted from the chasm, shooting upwards like a tidal wave, reshaping the realm around them. And there she stood, an older version of Lily, shimmering, glowing. Marcus, she called, voice booming and filled with authority. You need to understand. Lily? He stumbled back, disbelief gripping him. How is this possible? You're different. No. His brother roared, but the older Lily stood firm, the air vibrating around her. You're all tied to something more powerful, something that has been manipulating your lives. Tension hung in the air as both Lilies locked eyes, a scorching connection sparking like fire. This isn't just a family secret, the older Lily continued. It's a curse, a twisted legacy, meant to control us. I don't believe this, Marcus shouted, veins pounding in his temples. What are you talking about? Before she could answer, the atmosphere shifted again. The reality around them melted like wax. The ground trembled with emotion, shadows screaming their discontent. Then it hit him, a truth so devastating, it felt like ice slicing through his heart. What if we're all just pawns? Another boom thundered as the swirling chaos intensified. Marcus reached out, desperately grasping for something to hold on to. A cold laugh erupted from behind them. His brother grinned malevolently, reveling in the chaos. You think you know pain, little brother? You don't even know what I am. Marcus recoiled, his heart racing with dread. What do you mean? The truth crashed over him like a tidal wave. All this time, I was the real heir to the power. You were just a distraction. No, Lily shouted, stepping forward. You're lying. But darkness engulfed her. The air crackled with energy as Marcus's brother waved his hand, and suddenly Lily was trapped in shadows, thrashing against invisible restraints. Let her go, Marcus screamed, panic and fury melding into one. He lunged forward, but something held him back. Cold, relentless darkness wrapping around his limbs. Join me, his brother hissed, voice laced with malice. You can be more than just a pawn in this game. You can embrace your true nature. As despair washed over him, Marcus fought against the chains of darkness, desperation flooding his every thought. This can't be true. We're family. Family? His brother laughed. A cold sound that echoed in the void. You're nothing but a puppet to our legacy, but you can choose to join me. Together, we could rule our destiny. With every ounce of will, Marcus summoned strength from deep within. No, I will never be like you. But just then, he felt a flicker of energy rising from the core of himself. A warmth pulsed through him, breaking through the shackles of despair. Lily, he cried, reaching out to the shadowed figure. I'll save you. Before he could act, a torrent of power rippled from within him, surging toward his brother. The air crackled raw and electric. Shadows shot from Marcus's fingertips, intertwining with the darkness around Lily. Marcus, she shouted, voice strained yet filled with fierce determination. We can't let him win. But the shadows twisted violently, spiraling like a broken curse, and in that horrific moment, everything shifted again. The world shook, sending tremors through Marcus's heart. And when he looked back, his brother melted into the darkness, transforming into something unrecognizable. Then it dawned on him, the truth was never simple. Each reveal felt like a deadly whisper in his ear. But as he fought against the tidal wave of confusion, one question echoed crystal clear in his mind. Who truly controlled their fate? And as the ground opened wider, Marcus teetered on the edge, faced with the choices of the past and the darkness of the present. What awaited him was a mystery he never fathomed. Would he conquer the shadows or be consumed by them? The darkness consumed Marcus whole, and just when he thought it would crush him, he landed hard on solid ground once more. Confusion roiled in his gut as he looked up, blinking against a dazzling light that enveloped the space. Beside him, Lily stood with wide eyes, uncertainty mirrored in her expression. "Where are we?" Her voice trembled, anxiety rippling through her. I don't know." He shook his head, taking in their surroundings. This place felt alive, charged with energy. But the foreboding shadows clung tightly to their edges, a flickering reminder of the danger they had just tried to escape. Suddenly, a familiar laughter rang out, sharp and mocking. Marcus turned, heart racing. There stood beneath them quaked as Marcus clenched his fists, anger boiling in his veins. "What do you want from us?" He tried to keep his voice steady, but fear laced through it. His brother stepped closer, energy crackling around him. "You think you're the hero? You're just a pawn, brother. A distraction in a much larger game." "What game?" Lily demanded, stepping in front of Marcus, bravely defiant. "You're not going to touch him." But before she could react, his brother lifted his hand, sending dark tendrils spiraling toward her. "Join me, Marcus. Embrace your true power." His voice was smooth, like silk concealing a blade. "No!" Marcus yelled, but he felt the ground shift beneath them. The light pulsed violently, twisting with shadows. Panic surged as Lily was engulfed by the darkness, her screams echoing through the chaos. "Lily!" He reached for her, but the shadows pulled at him too, dragging him down. The world twisted again, uprooting everything he thought he knew. And then in an instant, everything shifted. The oppressive darkness fell away, revealing a new reality. They stood in what seemed to be an enormous hall, walls adorned with shimmering gold and crimson. The vibrant colors felt alive, pulsing with an unseen force. Marcus blinked, trying to process the change, when the room erupted with a chorus of voices, overlapping one another in a chaotic symphony. "What have we here?" A figure emerged from the shadows, expertly cloaked in deep blue, radiant and fearsome. "Welcome, Marcus Hale. Welcome, Lily." The voice drawled deep and commanding. Who are you?" Marcus demanded, heart pounding wildly. The figure smiled, revealing glimmering teeth. "I am the keeper of legacy, and you, dear ones, have stirred a very dangerous pot." "What are you talking about?" His throat felt dry, unease creeping up his spine. "You thought you were fighting for something noble?" The keeper waved a hand, and suddenly, scenes flashed around them. Battles fought, alliances forged, but beneath it all lay threads of betrayal. The truth is far more sinister. Marcus's pulse quickened as he struggled to grasp the situation. Could it be? The keeper continued, voice rising with power. "You have no idea how long the game has been played. Your family's legacy is built on subterfuge, Marcos. Your mother, she is not who you think she is." "What?" A stone dropped in Marcus's stomach. "What do you mean?" The keeper's eyes glinted with an unsettling mirth. "Your mother forged identities to protect her true purpose, and you have only scratched the surface. You are not just her son, you are a catalyst, meant to awaken the deeper powers." Catalyst? Marcus felt the floor tilt, as if the ground beneath him was suddenly unstable. Awaken what powers? But before he could pursue that question, a horrific realization struck. "Lily, where's Lily?" The air shifted. The keeper's gaze turned cold and calculating. "Ah yes, your little sister." "Stop." He lunged forward. "What did you do to her?" But the keeper only grinned wider as a distorted figure emerged from the shadows beside him. Lily, her face twisted in confusion, eyes flashing with something darker. "What's happening?" Her voice felt foreign, but the sharpness in her gaze was unmistakable. "Lily." He reached out for her, but something within her began to pulse, a strange energy swirling around her elegantly. It's time, Marcus. Time to finally shed the burdens of your past. Pain shot through Marcus as he staggered back, realizing something terrible. The truth was unraveling, and with it, everything he thought he knew. Lily, don't. But as the room quaked around them, her expression hardened, and he realized the truth pierced deeper than either of them had prepared for. What if the bond they thought they shared was nothing but a strand in this intricate web of deception? The keeper laughed, a rich sound full of menace. Everything you thought was real is about to change. Now, choose. And with that, the world blurred. Marcus's heart raced. Was it Lily before him? Or had the darkness already claimed her? He had to know. What other secrets lay hidden in this maze of shadows? The chamber hummed with tension, a fierce energy coiling between them all. Marcus's heart raced as he watched Lily caught in shimmering shadows, her features distorted and fierce. "Lily, fight it!" he shouted, desperate to reach the sister he believed in. "Marcus, her voice wavered, battling the grip of darkness that threatened to consume her. "Don't listen to him," he urged, desperation clawing at his throat. Every second was critical. "You're stronger than this." The keeper of legacy watched, a self-satisfied grin plastered across his face, relishing the chaos he had orchestrated. "You think you can save her? You're merely a pawn in this game, Marcus. The power of your heritage is awakening, but it doesn't belong to you." No, a wave of fury surged through Marcus. "I define my own legacy, not you." With a surge of unexpected strength, he reached into the chaos, focusing on the light within him, a warmth igniting where fear once reigned. "Lily, remember us. Remember our bond." Suddenly, the air thickened, vibrating with connection. He could almost see the thread weaving between them, a golden strand anchoring both souls to a shared history. In that moment, something shifted in her eyes. The darkness faltered. "Marcus, let her go," he shouted again, channeling every ounce of love, desperation, childhood memories. "You don't have to fight this alone." The shadows shrank back as his brother stepped forward, rage bubbling beneath the surface. "You think you can break her spirit? You won't win." But Lily's voice rose above the chaos, cutting through like a blade. "No, I choose my own path." With a gasp, the shadows recoiled, releasing their hold. Flickers of light chaotically danced around them. The keeper's eyes widened, a mixture of disbelief and fury. As they faced the remnants of darkness, something incredible happened. The energy swirling inside Marcus intensified. Together, he and Lily surged forward, sharing the light woven between them, a bond forged in truth, resilience, and love. Together, they shouted, as light erupted from their combined forces, flooding the chamber with brilliance, banishing the oppressive dark. The keeper staggered, his confident facade crumbling. "No, this can't be happening." With a final burst of brightness that enveloped the entire space, everything shattered, the shadows evaporating like mist in the morning sun. They stood together in a now quiet room, breathless but victorious. Lily turned to Marcus, her eyes glistening with tears. "You saved me." "No, we saved each other," he replied, feeling warmth blooming in his chest. "We found our truth." As the sun filtered through the remnants of darkness, a new hope blossomed, illuminating their path forward. They had fought not just for their lives, but to reclaim their lineage. Memories of pain and loss began to fade, replaced by the strength of their connection. But the victory came with a price. As they embraced, a thought hung in the air. What lay ahead would still challenge them, ghosts of their past still lingering. They exchanged knowing looks, ready to face whatever came next as equals. "Let's go home," Marcus whispered, resolute in his heart. And with that, they stepped forward together, the light guiding their way. One step closer to a future they would create, unchained from the shadows of deception. But as they left the hall behind, a low echo reverberated, a promise of trials still to come. a haunting reminder of the complicated path ahead. Yet for today, they had carved a new legacy. And if you felt the emotions of this journey like we have, then this is the moment to show your support. You have to subscribe right now so you don't miss any of the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button because it really helps the algorithm, and flood the comments section with your thoughts and theories about the ending. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how this ends. Together, we can keep this incredible adventure alive.